We're gonna jump right into this one, man. This one's a real sad one. Unfortunately, this mother here, you're about to see, she strangled her child. So, I want to jump into this, bring some awareness to this. Another one out of Detroit. You guys know we've been covering the Naziah Harris story extensively on this channel, but we're gonna shift gears real quick and see what else is happening in Detroit. Just check this out.
Police and prosecutors say they've solved the mystery. You might remember it was just a few weeks ago when police found human remains at this home on Detroit's west side.
And now they believe that those remains are those of a 9-year-old boy and his mother. This woman right here, 41-year-old Brandy Pierce, is charged with his murder. Let's get out to Sean Lay. He's live in that neighborhood tonight. And Sean, Prosecutor Worthy is calling this case the most callous she's ever seen.
Now, just big shout out to the research crew. I wouldn't have come across this story if it wasn't for the research crew. So, guys, we got to definitely show love to the research crew. The Strategic Eyes research crew is a big part of what we do. They dig up these obscure stories that nobody else is talking about, man. You know, this might end up just getting a couple hundred views. I don't care, because we got to get that awareness out there. So if just 100 people learn about this little boy and have his name on their hearts and in their prayers, that's all that matters, man. But yeah, big shout out to the research crew. Let's do it.
Truly. So we want to get to the details of this horrible case first and then listen closely to the reaction we are getting from people who know this mom.
I have stood at this podium many times and talked about how horrific, tragic, and shocking certain cases are. Each time thinking there are some future alleged facts that could be worse than what I'm talking about at the time. Knowing all the while, though, that there's always a worse set of facts on the horizon.
And those set of facts are sickening. Another child murdered, 9-year-old Zamar King, allegedly at the hands of his mother, 41-year-old Brandy Pierce. Sources telling me Pierce put her little boy into a chokehold, killed him, and buried his body back in October. It was on January 6th, a child's foot was seen sticking out of the ground on the side of this home on Woodingham. Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy with more.
It's alleged that she purchased a shovel. She bound him by tying his hands and feet together and dug a hole in the background of the house on Woodingham, where she had been living for a short time. She then put him in this hole and covered him with dirt.
Once Zamar's remains were identified, his mother was found being held in Cobb County, Georgia, on drug and theft charges.
This case
is terrible. So basically, just give you a little backstory of what happened. So apparently, you know, the child died from asphyxiation. She took the life out of him by choking him. Now the landlord comes to the residence because he's getting ready to evict her and rent it out to a new tenant. And so he comes by to just take a look at the property. And that's when he sees this shallow grave. You know, this is property. He knows, like, somebody dug a hole there. Like, what is that? And he saw the shallow grave. He called the police. When the police arrived, they then did further inspection of the shallow grave and saw the boy's foot sticking out of the grave. And that's how they were able to say, all right, you know, let's do this. You know, let's look into who this little boy is and who took his life. Then the mother wasn't there, by the way. The apartment was empty. That's why the landlord came to do the inspection. And that's when this all came to bear, man. It's so sad. I mean, this lady's got to suffer from some mental illness. You have to be mentally ill to want to hurt your child. And 9 years old is that sweet spot, man. Like, there's still a little bit of babies, but they're big enough that they're not crying all the time. You know, that you can talk to them, you can reason with them, you can share things with them. They'll remember when you do beautiful things like take them to Disneyland or whatever, take them on vacations. They'll remember that. They'll truly enjoy it. They have their own interests, their own hobbies, the things they like to do with their free time, that you can share that with them. You can do things with them and they'll appreciate that. It's a really good age, a really fun age with kids. And for her to take the life of this child is beyond me. And I pray to God that she is mentally ill and it's not just that she's pure evil, but let's keep going.
It's rather shocking. In my 27-year career, I don't remember seeing anything like this.
That shallow grave is still there. People who knew the mother walked up to see that grave with me.
That's awful.
Wow, look at that. Look at that hole that she dug there. That's so sad. That is so sad. That's what she did with her child. A child that she created, a life that she brought into this world. That is the ultimate solution that she had for that child.
That really breaks my heart because I got a 9-year-old at home and I can't imagine a baby being in that hole.
That's right.
I've got 8. That's a lot.
That's right.
It is a lot. In fact, we've backed off of that house in that area on the west side. The grave is still open there. It is just too disturbing to be near and look at. That's what people are telling us there tonight. More reaction from this at 6 o'clock, guys. But as far as Pierce goes, the mom, she's in Georgia. She'll be brought back here to face those murder charges and child abuse charges. She has a 3-year-old who is safe in foster care tonight. We're live downtown tonight. Sean Lay, Local 4.
So difficult to wrap our minds around.
Absolutely. So I want to go ahead and bring you guys in now to the press conference. Let's watch the press conference and get some more insight into this case.
Thank you all for coming this morning. I have stood at this podium many, many times and talked about how horrific, tragic, and shocking certain cases are. Each time thinking there are some future alleged facts that could be worse than what I'm talking about at the time. Knowing all the while, though, that there's always a worse set of facts on the horizon. Well, that day has come again. So I want to talk about a case of a young boy named Zamar King III. The alleged facts in this case are that we are announcing today. On January 6th of 2025, the Detroit Police Department was notified and summoned to a house on Whittingham in Detroit. They had been contacted by the landlord that owned that house. When he went to that house, the landlord contacted him when he went to that house to prepare it for a new tenant.
All right, real quick. For some reason, this audio is only coming through as mono. Like I only hear it in one ear. So if you hear the same thing, there's nothing wrong with True Crime is Strategic. Is basically how this is being broadcasted. Just bear with it. It's a little annoying just hearing it in one ear, but just bear with it. I appreciate your understanding.
That he called the police because he found a shallow grave in the backyard of the home on Whittingham. Upon arrival, the police were shown that grave where a human foot was sticking out of the ground. The foot was believed to be belonged to a small child. Yeah. After an extensive investigation by quite a few agencies, and the chief will talk about that in a minute, the buried body was discovered to be 9-year-old Zamar King III. That the mother of young Zamar was 41-year-old Brandy Pierce. It's alleged that she killed him, and that the cause of death found by the medical examiner was smothering and neck compression. So I want to just further go ahead and tell you what other facts about this case. It's alleged that she purchased a shovel. She bound him by tying his hands and feet together and dug a hole in the background of the house on Whittingham, where she had been living for a short time. She then put him in this hole and covered him with dirt. That after killing her son, she and her other son, who was 3 years old, moved to Georgia, Cobb County to be exact. It was determined that this, in fact, happened sometime in October of 2024. That Zamar's mother, Brandy Pierce, is currently in Cobb County, Georgia, and we will be requesting her to be extradited back to Michigan. We are charging Brandy Catrice Pierce today with 1 count of murder in the first degree premeditation, which carries a life without parole sentence, mandatory. Count 2 is homicide felony murder. Again, the mandatory penalty is life in prison without the possibility of parole. Our 3rd count is child abuse in the first degree, life or any term of years in prison. The first degree child abuse is the felony to make out the felony murder we are alleging. Count 4 is tampering with evidence, criminal case punishable by more than 10 years in prison. And the 5th one is interfering with, concealing and interfering with the death of an individual, 5 years, of course, that being 9-year-old Zamar King. As always, this defendant is presumed innocent unless or until proven guilty. I should tell you that Judge Aaliyah Sabri of the 36th District Court authorized these charges yesterday. And since we will be requesting extradition, we will notify you all when in fact she is back in the state of Michigan. So of course there is no next day for court. Again, let me just repeat.
Kim Worthy is notoriously soft on crime, so I'm really liking the fact, and it's not politics, it's just, just facts. You go look this stuff up, you'll find out that that's the truth. But I have been noticing a shift in the way that she's handling at least these high profile cases. All right. How's she handling cases that are happening, on a regular, like the stuff that we don't see in the news? I don't know. All right. I don't live in Michigan. I don't live in Detroit, all that, I don't know. But these high profile cases, it does appear that, she's being very tough as of recently, and she's going for the throats of these bad people, especially these folks who are victimizing the children. And I love it. I'm so grateful that that's the case, because it really would break my heart if, she's looking for alternatives to incarceration for people like this mother and Jarvis Butts and folks of that ilk who destroy the future of the human race by killing our children. Let's keep going.
These charges and allegations are quite serious. They're deadly. They're shocking. Every platitude that you can think of. But again, Ms. Pierce is still presumed to be innocent unless until proven guilty. So I'm going to have the chief say a couple words to you, and then we'll answer some questions for you if you can.
Thank you, Madam Prosecutor. As Madam Prosecutor said, this case is rather shocking. In my 27-year career, I don't remember seeing anything like this, but I just want to thank, of course, Madam Prosecutor. I want to thank our law enforcement partners and everyone who helped out with this. The FBI was instrumental. Michigan State Police was instrumental in helping out as well, along with Cobb County and DeKalb County in the state of Georgia, their district attorney's office. And I just really want to express how proud I am of the hardworking men and women of the Detroit Police Department who helped bring this case to where it is today with these charges. I want to thank, of course, of our Major Crimes Division, the Commander Rebecca McKay, Captain Marcus Thurkill, Sergeant Ashley Peterson, Detective Kelly Lucy, who is here with us, Detective Lisa Johnson, and then the officer who is leading the case, Officer Isaac Yamas, and the members of the Western Squad. The Detroit Police Department works relentlessly on behalf of victims, and we are confident that there will be accountability for this. And as Madam Prosecutor said, of course, everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. Thank you much.
It seems to all of us who do this work on a daily basis that there's been just a large number of tragic cases that have happened to our children, worse than we have seen. So it's our hope that we don't continue to see these, but I know that's probably false hope that I'm having. Before we go any further, I want to introduce Tina Ripley, who has worked together on this case very hard. She will be trying this case. Louisa Papoulis is to her right and your left. She is the Deputy Chief of the Special Victims Unit. Kelly Gleason is to my immediate left, and she is the Chief of the Special Victims Unit. And again, if the Chief would introduce these people that are standing here, that would be helpful.
Sergeant, I'm sorry, Detective Lisa Johnson is right.
Yeah, you don't even know your detective name, man. That should be the most important person on that dais right now. The person who's actually doing the investigation. Let's keep going.
Here. Also, officer in charge of the case, Isaac Yamas, Kelly Lucy, detective, Ashley Peterson, Marcus Thurkill. Marcus is in the back there as well, and then Captain Rebecca McKay.
Okay. We'll take some short questions at this point, if you have any.
Not that you guys needed it to get a charging decision, but any indication as to why, a possible motive in this case?
You know, I don't talk about motives at the time. Any further evidence and charging decision will come out when we go to court. So, again, we can't comment on that at this time.
I'm not a big fan of Kingworthy. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not. It has nothing to do with politics. It's all about just how she runs that prosecutor's office out there. But let's keep going.
Any communication with Zamar's mother at all from you guys?
We did speak with his father yesterday. Actually, this morning, actually. So, yes, we have had contact with the family, and the Detroit Police Department has had contact with the family as well.
So forgive me, I must be confused because I are not listening close enough, so I apologize. But the relationship of the suspect to the child?
Mother.
Okay.
Yes. 41-year-old Brandy Pierce was his mother.
Okay.
And did Zamar's father live in Michigan?
He lives in this area, yes.
And was he aware of his child's death?
Again, we talked to him. I don't think he was aware until recently, but again, we did speak with him this morning.
Thank you.
And we'll be speaking with him, of course, further as time goes on.
And those are just, oh, go ahead.
No, please, you got it.
Those are her two kids, Zamar and the 3-year-old?
Yes.
Okay.
Madam Prosecutor, where's the 3-year-old right now?
That's a good question. Where's the baby?
Again, he's with his mother in Georgia right now.
But his mother's in
and he
jail.
was, and now he's in foster care here, I believe.
Okay, because his mother was in jail. So how was he with his mother? Came with friends, relatives, whatever. But the question has ultimately been answered. He's in foster care while the mother's facing indictment and charging for this horrendous crime against his brother.
Can you
foster
provide,
care locally?
In Georgia.
Oh, okay, Georgia.
Yep.
are you able to provide any further information on the timeline of, you mentioned October, and then what?
That'll come out in court.
But in regard to how she ends up in Georgia with the other child, or with
All I can
family,
tell
or-
you, all I can tell you at this point in time is she left shortly after she buried the body in the backyard and went to the state of Georgia.
I wonder how long the baby was back there. But anyway, guys, I see you guys on the next one. I'm going to end this one here. Very tragic story. This little boy, hopefully he'll get his justice, and there's no winners in these situations. You know, mommy killed her baby, and her baby now is post-mortem seeking justice against their own mother. What a crazy, sordid tale we have there, you know? No winners. Nothing but a tragedy. Oh, and then you have a 3-year-old who probably won't have a mother moving forward, because if mommy ever gets out, the 3-year-old will be an adult. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys on the next one. Please make sure to like and subscribe, join the channel, leave something in the comment section so we get into that algorithm, and consider becoming a member or a Patreon member of the Strategic Eyes Show. All the links are going to be in the description. We'll see you on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Peace.